and welcome to another episode of Country Bumpkin Reporter. I decided it was time for another campfire story, and it is New Year's Eve. Let's see, it's about 6 o'clock, starting to get dark. Perfect night for a campfire. It's cool, but it's not real cold, and there's like absolutely no wind. So, tonight's little campfire story is I hear them all the time talking about these lightweight RVs, and I love them. That's what I'm in the market for. And everyone I've ever known that's had a lightweight, and I'm going to say a pop-up camper, even after they promote up to something larger, they always talk about how much fun they had when they had their little pop-up tent campers. And so I was going to tell you a little story. What I was going to say about the lightweight campers is they're always talking about, oh, you can move them around, you can push them around. And that's what our story involves tonight. My best friend had 3 girls, or has 3 girls, and she used to go camping with me, her and the girls, in my parents' camper. And so she was talking to one of her friends at where she worked, and they had a small pop-up camper, and they decided to sell it and move up to something larger. And so she decided she wanted to buy it for her and the girls. And so she bought that thing, and we went camping almost every weekend. At the time, I had a little S10 Blazer. I would sleep in the back of it. My knees are burning. This fire is hot. So anyway, I would sleep in the back of my S10, and her and the girls would sleep in the pop-up camper. And the best thing about those little pop-up campers is, even today, is you can sleep so many people in them. Hers was very small. We could push it around, and you could sleep like 6 people in it. And so here's our story. We went camping one weekend. We drove around. She decided, that she liked this particular camp spot, and me and the girls were like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yeah, let's park here." So we got the camper all backed in, got it all unhooked, and she's walking around in the meantime looking, and she comes back and she says, "You know what? I think we ought to get that campsite over there." And so we're like, "What? Are you kidding me?" After we done got everything unhooked, well, we had one of the girls' boyfriends with us, and so it's like, well, I'm sure between all of us we can probably push that camper over there and we won't have to rehook it back up. So here's the deal. You may think that you're on a level surface. You're not always on a level surface. So we started pushing the camper, and the first thing you know, the camper takes off from us because we obviously was on a little slight incline. And a camper can weigh 500 pounds, but that's still, usually about 400 and or three or 400 and something pounds more than you. And so I got in front of the camper, and I leaned up against it, and I'm trying to, stop it with my feet, and the thing is just pushing me. And so John finally managed to get around to the front with me, and between the two of us, we were able to bring the camper to a stop. Luckily, this happened back in late 80s, early 90s. The campgrounds weren't near as busy as they are now, and that particular weekend, the campground luckily was not very busy. I would hate to see that happen today. So the moral of the story is, if you're not sure whether you're on a perfectly level ground, I would not push these campers around, because they can and will get away from you. It's a funny story now, we laugh about, but it could turn out very bad, could be very dangerous. And like I said, so when they're telling you you can push them around, I just want to give you a heads up that be careful. You may not be on as a level of surface as you think you are. I would be scared to push one around even in my garage because my driveway is at an angle like this. And so if it just slightly got away from me inside the garage, it would not be good. So that's our little campfire story for tonight. And I hope that you all have a very happy new year. Stay safe tonight. And we'll look forward to seeing you again in 2020. Goodbye, everybody.